Boom.
Biddly bo. Yes, yo. What's up, guys? Quick shit vid. We're going quick shit lives of late, aren't we? So, switching it up on the channel a little bit. We still keep it shit. We still keep it quick, but it's obviously not that quick. You know what time it is? Get that badger in and on and over here. We had to move back to get his greatness in, get up close and personal with said badger. Got a little bit to rattle through. Just turn my phone off. Right, laugh. Perri Sauce, PSR, the supercomputer, and Leeds United support football versus homophobia. Which I don't know if we'll get to that topic, but it'd just be interesting to see what everybody's saying on that topic. Might as well do the supercomputer first, because obviously they do these supercomputers relentlessly, don't they? Every 3 or 4 months, these supercomputers come up and out of nowhere. It's got us 15th, it's got Spurs 16th, it's got Forest 17th, and it's got West Ham 18th. So obviously that is that how it is now? I don't know if Tottenham have fallen to 17th or no. Yeah, it's still, so it's exactly as it is, which I think in reality is probably the way it'll go. I'd love it if Tottenham went down. Obviously, I was one of the only Leeds fans the other day that wanted Tottenham to get a result against Arsenal because I can't handle them winning league. But they didn't. So now that they aren't, I'm happy for them to get bombed and get gone. Yes, Brett, what's good, big man? Can't keep up putting lives on whilst I'm coaching. Good man, Brett. Appreciate you, man. Get stuck in. Yes, Mark Bradley, what's good, big man? Yeah, so they've got us in 15th. Joe was back. He had an appearance on Sky today, which were pretty funny. Go check that out. It's on his Twitter, I think. I'm not sure if he's uploaded it to his channel or not. But it was like, loser stays on. So there was first, and it was up against West Ham, and he put his case forward, and it was instantly a win. So Joe got booted out because on the basis that we are closer to Europe than we are to the drop. We are on the push as opposed to we are going down. And then with Dr. Farker and the medics at the helm next year, we will be pushing on. I still think we've got, maybe delusions of grandeur or whatever people call it. They've got Sunderland above us in the supercomputer, but I think we can overlap Sunderland, and my man Brett agrees, so I've got every reason to believe it. Looks like I'm getting a flyer, might catch the back end. Yes, indeed, Brett. Yeah, I'll only be here for an hour or so, mate. I've got football tonight at 9, so I need to go pick my mate up about 8:30. Yeah, so supercomputer's got us 15th, Spurs 16th, Forest 17th, West Ham to go down. I'd rather, this sounds silly, but in terms of building and going forward, who do you think is the best side to stay up in terms of, to give us most longevity when next year, the team that you'd sort of least be worried about? Because if Spurs go down as shit as they've been for 2 years, you would anticipate if they was to stay up, they'd be decent the year after, wouldn't you? Or certainly be able to turn the form a little bit. Forest, you kind of feel the same a little bit. And then West Ham, I don't know. There's 4 big clubs down there, and obviously Leeds are the biggest, and that's why we're sat in 15th. We're top of the bottom of the league, aren't we? So I'll take it. Yes, Mark Bradley, live every night, mate. Yeah, pretty much. We'll do a normal underlap tomorrow, which will be a marathon, but I'm just jumping on lives instead of doing my shit vids. So we can be a bit more interactive. I'll still do the odd shit vid, but we're going to see how it goes going live. I've got us 14th, I think. Palace are still in the mix, as Richard Todd. You'd take 14th all day, wouldn't you? I do think we can climb. We're 4 points off Palace. They're in 13th. We're 5 points off Sunderland. So 2 more positive victories than them. 2 more positive results than they get. And we should be up and around them. But I do think we're safe. Obviously, the weekend's a big game. In other random news, Geldar is apparently getting closer and closer to a permanent move to Hull. He's obviously been decent for Hull. Scored a few mint goals, to be fair, just from the highlight reels. I can't profess to watch the Hull games, but just from seeing him. He's been there a while now, hasn't he? So, he's obviously settled in. They obviously rate him. I do like Geldar. Joffrey, we speak about him quite a lot on channel, don't we? Because I do have sort of like, I'm quite fond of him, and I'm not sure he's always got the amount of opportunities that others have had in times gone by. Your Josephs of the world and stuff, but it is what it is. Mark Bradley reckons Forest will go down. West Ham have lots to do though. Yeah, West Ham, they're riding the crest of a wave a little bit right now, and I do think they'll be the ones to go. Personally, I don't think it'll change much down bottom end now. I just think West Ham can't maintain this. Yeah, I can't. West Ham have got Liverpool away next. They've got Fulham, City, and Villa, which is a horrible 4 games, isn't it? Really. Fulham in 10th at league. Liverpool obviously 6th, but not the best. Not the best side going, but they're still 6th in league. It's still a massive fixture, and you're still happy when we were picking up points against them. Man City are obviously pushing for title, and then Villa, who are pushing for Champions League. I mean, title's beyond the grip now, you would imagine. Yeah. In other random news, before we get onto the headline stuff, Cooper got injured against Sheffield the other day, so it looks like his season's out, which I'm a bit gutted for Cooper, to be fair. I quite enjoyed the fact that our B team is now playing everywhere across Sheffield, and they are the Sheffield Warriors now, aren't they? They might as well make their own dream team, although I'm not sure many Sheffield Wednesday players would get in the Sheffield United side. But that being said, Sheffield United have been shit as well, so. But we're not here to talk about them. What we're here to talk about is this article, talking about the fact that Lucas Perri might be handed a lifeline or a second chance ahead of the summer transfer question. Because obviously everybody thinks that we're going to get rid of him. I'm not too sure we will get rid of him. Leeds United hero Tony Dorigo believes Lucas Perri will be given another chance to prove himself under Daniel Farke, who has rode back on the idea that a goalkeeper will be among the top transfer targets this summer. Perri was acquired from Lyon for an initial 13.9 million in July, with the hope that he would be an upgrade on Karl Darlow and Elan Meslier, silent S. However, the Brazilian currently finds himself a second choice following a series of errors. I think he's right to be second choice as well, do we? We all agree with that, don't we? The 78-year-old was dropped in January after being criticised by Farke for mistakes which led to Manchester United's equaliser in the 1-1 draw at Ellen Road and the Newcastle's winner in the 4-3 away defeat a few days later. Now, I can't remember that Newcastle game particularly, but the winner was poor, but I'm sure there was a couple of mistakes in there. I saw some signs against Arsenal when we got thumped away from home, and I thought, this guy's not my number one. I honestly, I couldn't see it. Perri played for the first time since being axed this month in an FA Cup round, 4th tie round against Birmingham City, producing a fine early save before keeping out one of the penalties in the shootout amid an all-round good performance. I actually thought he was decent in that game. He made a couple of good saves. He made a particularly good save, actually, that kept us at 0-0. And then, obviously, it was the penalty hero as it goes, even though the water bottle that was allegedly there to help him gave him no help because he didn't know the players' numbers. But I still think I still found him on his backside from a couple of crosses, from a couple of corners getting whipped in. And he's still rolling around on his back. You're thinking, you're expecting him to come football and you're looking for him. You think, where are you? Where are you, Perri? And you're nowhere to be seen. So it's like, because he's on the floor rolling around. Not even rolling around in his own net. He's not even on, he's not even on his line. He's like the wrong side of the post rolling around. It's like, such a big guy, man. You're going to have to start being a bit more of a brick wall. But he was decent in that game. And to be perfectly honest, as I am for every Leeds player that does well, I was happy for him, to be fair. And like Longstaff had a few nice words to say about him and stuff at end of game, just saying that he's had a bit of a tough time, which ultimately he has really at the club. It's not gone the way that he would have hoped. It's not gone the way anybody would have hoped. Farke, me, you, him, me mum, anybody. So Farke explained how he was delighted for the smart and thoughtful Perri, though reiterated that the pecking order would not be reserved for now. Would not be reversed for now. This is not the best written article I've ever read. Not the best reader in the world either. He's still on the way to recover from this and to win this momentum back, Farke said. With only 11 games in the Premier League season left, the chances of Perri breaking back into the side beyond FA Cup games is slim. Darlow, who had a good game against Aston Villa last time out, has generally been more reliable and sturdy. Darlow, the reality is, has got us out of a few sticky situations, hasn't he? Like, genuinely, last year with Meslier, silent S, he got us out of a sticky situation. We probably should have gone with him earlier. Farke has not made that alleged. I don't see it as a mistake, even though Meslier, silent S did his best to throw away a fair few games. But I do think that was probably still the right move from Farke. I think he's got it right. I don't think if it had gone any earlier, we went up on 100 points, so we got it done, and then we got that moment at last day of the season, and You know, it's all part of it, but he certainly wasn't messing around. And I think because with Meslier Santos being a youngster and probably in the hope that he had a better career ahead of him than Darlow and stuff, I think he was sort of hopeful that we could build him into the number one and not, you know, try and be a calm head, you know, and get his mistakes out of the way basically, and make sure that, you know, he becomes stronger than yesterday, comes back stronger. But with Perri, he's, you know, best part of £20 million goalkeeper from a big club, alleged Champions League goalkeeper. He's come in to be the number one and not make these errors. That's why we've signed him. So, you know, he is unfortunately held to a different standard ultimately. As a result, many supporters are musing whether a new goalkeeper will be on the radar this summer, especially given Darlow, Meslier Santos and Keynes all see their contracts expire in July. Farker also hinted in January that he would have liked a new shot stopper in the winter window. Dorigo, though, is not so sure that the position will ultimately be near to top of the wish list come the summer. Every single position will be looking to be improved, which is what I've been saying for months and, you know, well, forever, to be fair. It's same, you know, as we go in every single window, if there's a player that comes up that's better in a certain position, he comes straight into the side. He gets signed. It doesn't matter whether he's a centre mid when we're strong in there. You know, they'll obviously prioritise positions, but if a top player comes in, they'll get bought or they'll get snapped up. Every single position will be looked to be improved, so goalkeeping will be interesting and will be an issue because obviously we spent a lot on Lucas Perri, Dorigo told Leeds Live. He hasn't had the easiest of starts, but I think he's shown enough to be given another chance for sure, so I don't think it'll be high on the priority list. He added, if you've not reached the top of your game and you make one or two mistakes, then you can expect to change, and unfortunately Perri has done that. But also, once you've made a mistake and you're not at your best, it's how you then respond, and for me, that's the mark of a good player. Perri going to Birmingham, I thought that's the sort of response that the player needed to give, and he was magnificent. Not sure about magnificent, but he did make a couple of good saves, and obviously the pens. It's just the corners and stuff. I don't really care about the top saves. That doesn't mean he walked straight back into the side, certainly because Karl Darlow has not made many mistakes either. Karl Darlow has not been immune to mistakes either, though, has he? That being said, you know, I mean, it'll be the Arsenal game where him and DCL's getting each other's way, and again, you just got to be more commanding as a goalkeeper. What's happened to that Sunday League goalkeeper who, you know, all these lads are good at shot stopping and then can't come out and clatter everybody. All lads we played with in Sunday League, shit at shot stopping, but if a cross came in, but you rest assured beer belly's coming to get it, and no man's going anywhere near him. You're running the opposite directions. It's, you know, an unstoppable force meets an immovable object, and, you know, them big beer bellies coming out, trundling out, hungover. Shintame! He has played lots and lots of games, and I can only think of one really where I think, okay, maybe that was a goalkeeper mistake. He's done brilliantly, so I think it's a good position to be in. Indeed, on Saturday, Farker said he was happy with his performance of the goalkeeper group given recent performances. He has previously underlined how he does not want to change his goalkeeper order often. And Dorigo, as a former defender, explained how the current scenario impacts the mind state at the back line. I don't know how goalkeepers are so important to the back line. The defensive responsibility lies mainly with the goalkeeper in terms of organising, and maybe not mainly. You know, the centre backs are obviously the main part, but, you know, I think it's more. I think it could be anybody there, but they breed confidence, don't they? And you know, I think the team, when you know your last line of defence, when you know your goalkeeper's got a proper good chance of keeping it out or being strong, and he's going to come and help you from corners, and he's going to do, you know, I think that just breathes confidence into the side. That's why it's so important. I don't think it's as important structurally, obviously, as a centre back. You know, if your centre back's all over the shop, it doesn't really matter how good your keeper is. As a defender, it's really important that you are a unit and that your back line and your keeper just needs to be in tune, he said. It's not as though Leeds are changing between 3, 4 and 5 goalkeepers, so the boys are plenty skilled enough to work it out. I think as players, you've got to be flexible. You need to just understand the strengths and weaknesses of various teammates around you. So the goalie, yes, it's a bit more important, but I don't see it as an issue. I mean, it's an issue. I do see it as an issue, because I think, it's the only place where you don't actually have to be put with people's weaknesses, really. You don't want your goalkeeper's weakness being, soft as shit in air from corners and stuff. So one of today's polls is, do you think Lurch gets another shot as our number one? Yes. No. Next season. No, I won't put next season. I'll just put that. What do you reckon? I personally think he stays at the club, but I don't think he comes in as the number one again. I actually saw a world where he becomes the number one again this season. But when the more I think about it and reading through that, 11 games to go, I don't think Farke, he's already said he doesn't want to be changing it a lot. I can't imagine he's going to want to change it with 11 games to go. What do you think? Perri is 78. He might as well be. 78 RPM. I can't see Hull paying much more than 8 million for Joffy. I can't. They may have to, as others are looking. His stock is high. Be interested to see how much we get for Joffy, won't it, in reality? Seriously, would you take a point against City? I think 3 more wins and we are definitely safe, Richard. I'd definitely take a point against Man City at weekend. I think it'd be a brilliant point. And it keeps our run going. I do quite like the fact that, we're unbeaten in so many games and all this stuff. Other than Arsenal, what is it, 2 in 14 or whatever, and not picked up many losses on the road and stuff. We're in good stead. So I do think that again breeds confidence. And it means that we set up going into our next big games, because we get into the big boy shit now, aren't we? The business end of season. Sunderland, Palace and Brentford, we've got to pick up some points against Sunderland, got to pick up some points against Palace. We can catch Palace, really, if they don't have a good weekend, and we do. If we beat Sunderland, I don't know who Palace's next games are, but certainly rest assured we can find out. So Palace have got Man United on Sunday. So you would imagine with Man United's form, they're going to lose that. That's points to be caught. Then they've got Tottenham, which is a madness. Probably, if you want Tottenham to go down, we want them to do them, really. And then we've got Palace. So, that could be the 6-pointer. They're going to drop against Man United. Potentially drop points against Tottenham, which, again, we don't want, because we want Tottenham down now, don't we? We've decided. But drop 3 points against Man United. Pick up a point, say, at Crystal Palace. And then if we do Sunderland, get a point at Man City. That could be a 6-pointer. It could be right in there behind them, couldn't we, boyos? Yes, indeed. How's this poll going? 92% think yes, Lurch gets another shot as our number one. Lurch, we'll do Lurch this season or next. Lurch as number one this season. Next season. Not bothered about City. Do Sunderland, win Norwich. That's all about winning Norwich, innit, at this point, Cal Leeds. Because we're off to Wembley, mate. We're off to Wembley. JB Leeds, I don't understand why people are happy to draw. I understand it's hard, but you want to aim for a win every game and not just draw. I know it's about opinions. I'm not happy with draws, man. I'm certainly not calling for that. But you're asking me now, in the cold light of day, without having a beer in my hand and without being 10 minutes before kickoff, whether or not I'd take a draw against Man City, who are going for title, who are on a real good run of form. You'd have to, surely, just being sensible, you'd have to take a point. I don't think that's defeatist of me. They've just beat Newcastle 2-1. They beat Fulham 3-0, sorry. They beat Liverpool at Anfield 2-1. They beat Newcastle 3. They drew with Tottenham. That's their only draw. They beat Galatasaray 2-0. Beat Wolves 2-0. Lost to Man United 2-0, fair enough. They beat Newcastle in first leg 2-0. They beat Exeter City 10-1. Drew with Brighton, drew with Chelsea. They're not in wild form, but it's rare that they get beat, isn't it? So it'd be hell of a day out if we do beat them. Richard Todd, at the moment, if you take some of that West Ham team, they are down. Yeah, Bowen's out of form and stuff in it. They'll fall away. Will West Ham? And to be fair to Bowen, he does put himself about, doesn't he? Sorry, to be fair to Somerville, he puts himself about. Oh, I've lost my... Sorry, boys. Yeah, he's lively in Somerville. That's one thing I've got to give him. He's get about the pitch, doesn't he? And he's a live wire. Prediction, we get a higher fee for Joffy than Largett and Joseph. Loving that, 78 RPM. That's probably the harsh reality. Largett just had goal at month, says Luke, so that means he's back to being 30, 40 mil player, isn't he? Richard Todd says, I want to win every game, but let's be realistic. Agreed, Richard Todd. It's just, it's just in the cold light of day, innit? I'm just saying, you'd have to take a point now before a ball's been kicked. But once, like I say, once the first ball gets kicked, I'm in beast mode and I want to win games. I don't want to lose to anybody. I don't want to draw to anybody. Believe me, boy. It's just, like I say, when you in the cold light of day, you take a point. JB Leeds, I know they are a beast of a team. I just feel, I feel being happy with the draw shows that we believe we are a weak team. That's all, pal. I agree, JB. I am saying from the start of the season, I hate having an inferiority complex. And I think a lot of fans have one. And I think we go around sucking on all the other teams' eggs all the time and saying like how, like Bowen, who we just mentioned there, how Bowen's a threat going forward and that. And it's like, we never really, as a fan base, we never really look at what we've got, or it's Harry Wilson for Fulham, or that guy called Kevin came on for Fulham and changed the game, and it's all about Kevin that week. And it's like, well, yeah, but I don't care about Kevin. So I agree, man, but I just, in the cold light of day, you have to say, Man City are going for the title. They're not going to lose many games up to end of season now. They're, fighting on all fronts. They're in a cup final. They don't lose a lot. And this is one of the worst seasons they've had. And we've actually beat them. But in recent history with Dallas and that. So it can be done. Of that, there's no doubt. And I believe in Ellen Road, the fortress of Ellen Road. I believe we can get as backup and make it difficult for them. I think there is definitely ways to beat Man City. But it's going to be a tough old slog. Would you go for Bowen if they go down, says Richard Todd? Well, I mean, I don't really know what Bowen would do. I don't think we'd be the first on his list to get him. He's only 29, so he's sort of in his peak years. He's obviously, he's an England player. I'll next season, everybody's saying on the Lurchers #1. I'll get a poll going. It's not a case whether you'd take him, because I think everybody would take him. But do you think there's a chance of landing Bowen? Between 10 and 25%, 25 and 50, 50 and 75, 75 plus, 7,500. I don't think there's a chance we'd get Bowen, personally. That's not milli, that's percentages, boys. Shout out to JB Leeds. No, appreciate you, brother. Appreciate you. Roundale Lake was an old quarry. Rumour has it munitions were chucked in. Munitions chucked in after the Second World War. Can anybody substantiate the rumour? I can't even read the comment, Roger Slicker, so I definitely can't substantiate the rumour. Never mind, I can't read. I don't know what that munitions mean. Munitions. I'd rather take Somerville, no chance of that either. they'd both be on the way out, wouldn't they? And Somerville's fine form, the fine Fettler form he's in last 10 games, so he's, will get teams sniffing around, won't he? I think Bowen gets a bigger move than Somerville, though. Would you agree? I think Bowen's significantly more proven, isn't he, than Somerville. I'm going to read this bullshit article as well. I know we don't talk much about PSR and stuff, but obviously it's been scrapped, and SCR is coming in, and how Leeds United could potentially be worse off. So modern football is overflowing with acronyms, and from this summer, a new one will enter the lexicon. Get that for a sentence. The Premier League's PSR, or Profit and Sustainability Rules, is set to be replaced by SCR, Squad Ratio Rules. In November, Leeds United voted against passing through the new framework, having wanted to make some adjustments before it was rubber-stamped. However, the minimum requirement of 14 clubs voted in favour of the new structure as it was, and so the new rule drafted come into force next season. Of course, the hope is that Leeds will come under these rules, having staved off relegation. Obviously, we don't want to be going down under these new rules. Well, we don't want to be going down under any fucking financial rules, do we? The financial rules can all get in the bin for me. There should just be some sort of a, leak your bank account. You just got to show people your bank account before you start spuffing loads of money into the club, or, I don't know, some sort of proof of. Just prove that you can afford it and that you're not going to go bankrupt in 2 years. You know what I mean? Or, I don't know, measure then there'd be an independent adjudicator. I don't know. Anyway, let's read this. The season still has some way to go, but the board will be planning for both end of the season scenarios ahead of the 2026 campaign. Here are answers to a few questions around how the new SCR rules will work. Why is PS being scrapped? In simple terms, a number of Premier League clubs, particularly the mid to low ranked outfits, pushed for a change amid the feeling that PSR was limiting their ability to invest amid tighter spending margins. These clubs, do you know what I think they should do? I think rather than going along with this bollocks that they all go on about all the time, the clubs should get together and personally, rather than looking after one another, they all know what fairness is, in all honesty. I know you've just got to look after yourself, and then the 20 rule, don't they? So you get 14 votes, it comes in. But they all must know what is fair. I know that, but ultimately the top monopolies don't want that. So you're fighting against each other in essence. So, but ultimately the lower clubs will start making some form of deals with each other. There's no, how can they not? The top six, or the alleged top six, are the only ones that can really fight for titles and stuff, but they're not the strongest. There's only 6 teams. You know what I mean? If everybody else just turns on them, and it's like, no, fuck the ones in power. Like, we're coming for you, but they don't. They don't. So I don't even know what I'm on about. These clubs essentially argued that they were more susceptible to unforeseen dips in revenue and thus more likely to land in financial trouble. The likes of Everton and Nottingham Forest, who have been docked points for financial breaches under the system, obviously PSR system. While in February last year it was decided that PSR would continue for this season, it was voted that the SCR framework would shadow it. In other words, a background test without repercussions. This was then ratified in November for the 2026-27 season. So you're sort of trialing it, but it's not, there's no repercussions, so you're testing it out, but then if there's no repercussions of it, then you're not really testing it, because nobody's going to abide by it, are they? That's like saying, oh, we're just testing this tax return, but then, still having the loophole in there and going, well, I know nobody's abiding by it, but we're just testing it, so don't worry about it if you've not got it right. It's like, well, I'm just going to crack on with what we're doing then, PSR, and worry about this next year. First of all, so what's the difference? First of all, SCR switches the perception focus from allowable losses to allowable spending. Under PSR, clubs could lose 105 million or less if a promoted club. Over 3 years, you could lose 105 million over 3 years. We know all this. Financial periods will now only be assessed on a 12-month basis rather than a rolling 3 cycle. Under PSR, promoted clubs were hampered by smaller rolling loss limits due to their previous years under tighter EFL rules. And I do get that, to be fair. You know, if you're in the Premier League, if you're in the big boy league, you have to be playing under the same rules, don't you? It's not fair if you go down and, you know, you because it becomes harder to stay in. We do have to try and even it out a little bit. I'm not sure whether financial fair play is there to facilitate the top 6 clubs always being the top 6 clubs, or whether it is there to actually try and get some justice. Just from what my basic knowledge of everything in the world is, whenever some bodies get involved, and I mean bodies as in, you know, human bodies and any body, you know, the bodies of whatever companies and stuff, whenever sort of government gets involved, or whenever there's a man at the top, I just think it's so easy corruptible. It's like, you know, and I don't know. I think it all stinks. Under SCR, clubs will be allowed to spend 85% of their revenue on squad costs, such as player wages, manager contracts, and agent fees. So clubs will be allowed to spend 85% of their revenue on the running of the squad, running of the team. Amortization. I'm not sure what that even means, amortization. Where the transfer fee over a player is spread out over the length of the contract also comes under this umbrella. But I'm pretty sure that happened anyway, didn't it? Where, you know, your player devalued as for whatever you'd bought him for. It'd go down on your spreadsheet, just like any asset you buy, any keyboard or whatever for your studio you buy. In time, it devalues, doesn't it? So it's worth less on your tax return. Basically, it's worth less to everybody. So my business is diminishing while my players are getting older, because obviously they're falling in value. So that wouldn't be counted as a loss. So my point being is, Onana, for instance, they're on a banana today. Sport, he bought for 900 million or whatever it was, silly money that Man United paid, and they've sent him out on loan, and people think, well, it's going to be hard to sell him, they're going to make a big loss on him. But by the time they get to the end of his last year of his contract, he'll be worth about 15 million on the spreadsheet, because he'll have devalued, and then they'll sell him for 20 million and it'll be 5 million profit. So they won't lose money on them types of players in the old system. But that's saying it still comes under that. The transfer fee over a player is spread out over the length of the contract. Realms such as a finance department or marketing department do not come under SCR. The focus is much more on player and head coaches' costs. SCR rules will have a green threshold and a red one. Green being the 85% cap and the red one being a hard stop limit of 30% over the green line. Essentially 115% of revenue. So that's a bit of an head fuck for me. Why is this green and red system in place? It is to do with sanctions. If a club goes beyond the green line but below the red line, the clubs will be fined but will avoid a sporting penalty. For example, a points deduction. Go above the red line and then a 6-point deduction will come into effect, with 1 point added for each 6.5 million over the limit. So that basically suggests you can go to 115% of your revenue and then just take the fine, the money fine, which ultimately, you know, is a good way to go in it. If you've got a bit of money, just go over the top but just stay below that red line basically, and then it's no points deduction. I do also agree, to be fair, that, you know, there's got to be some sort of a limit to what you can and can't do in terms of, like, there has to be, like, if you do this, you get this, because a lot of the time at the moment they're just making it up, aren't they? They're saying, right, well, you've fucked it, you've gone over this on FFP or whatever, so it's 6 points. With you, it's 15 points. You've done. It's like, it has to be like, well, no, this is exactly what, you know, this is exactly what the fine is. Under new rules, clubs will be monitored throughout the season, meaning sanctions could come in at any point during the campaign and not just at the end of it, which is also interesting. Because at the moment, you know, like people, like teams like Man City are pushing things onto the database, aren't they? Pushing things further down the pecking order, you know, just throwing money at it and pushing it further and further away, so they'll be monitored a lot more. Will the new rules change much? It doesn't look like it. According to those with extensive football financial knowledge, Kieran Maguire recently explained on the overlap, what we have, not the underlap, what we have is a cost control set of rules that are the benefit of the bigger clubs. If you took a look at the clubs who voted against, Bournemouth, Brentford, Crystal Palace, Brighton, Leeds and Fulham, what have those clubs got in common? They are what you might call the middle-class clubs in the Premier League. They use their player trading model to a greater extent to generate extra money. They feel as though they're getting a raw deal. Raw dogged. Sources have outlined how Leeds will be marginally worse off under SCR than PSI in the short term, but overall, is the change better for the game? I don't think it is better for the game, Maguire added. If you're an inspirational club, if another team qualifies for the Champions League, then realistically you're going to get up to another 100 million, which means you can spend another 85 million on wages. So it gains against those clubs who want to join the Big Six, like PSR. So it's the same thing. It's still the rich looking after the rich, if anybody likes to go down the Robin Hood shit. So, yeah. Won't change much. I do think though we're still in a good place on the basis that I do think with the 49ers at the helm, I think we've got plenty of control over what we're doing, and I think they will be able to ride pretty much any storm given to us. And really, when he mentioned them clubs, Fulham, Bournemouth, and that and I don't care about saying it. I'm only talking to Leeds fans here, but we're not. If we get back to being a powerful club, we are part of the Big Six, aren't we? I know it takes a lot of time now, and you can't just funnel money into it. Like Newcastle should really have the ability to do and stuff, but they can't. So it's going to come down to a little bit. Football's going to come more and more like Formula One, and it's how you spend your money, isn't it? And how good your team is, basically, for the same price. That everybody's got a number, aren't they, that they want to get to, and but you end up just fighting. If Man City, Man United cannot spend shitloads of money and we can't, then we just have to fight Newcastle for the Europa League spots, don't we? In a few years, we have to fight Aston Villa and these teams that will never really win the league under these. The biggest spenders win the titles, don't they? Ultimately, it might take them forever. Man United aren't falling off, are they? Keep spending shitloads of money every year. They do it every year, and it never seems to affect them, does it? Chelsea have gone whammy with their signings. Never seem to affect them. They managed to sell the women's part of the football club at Chelsea and stuff, and it's all just washed away. I don't know. I'm not moaning about money. It's the side of football that I just couldn't give a fuck about. But yeah, would be nice if Spurs went down, says Gomez Gang, and we cherry picked their players on the cheap like they did to us 2002, 2004. 2004. I've said 2004 again. Well, the only thing is, Gomez Gang, I think they're shit. So I don't really know who you'd want in. It's like I was actually flicking through their team the other day. I think it was Jason Cundy that were doing it. And it's like, who are these players really? Do you know what I mean? They've proved absolutely zero. Apic Dorigo was also praising Goodmanson's left-back prowess. Well, if he is Happy Clapper, I'll take it, my man Dorigo. But Goodmanson deserves some praise, doesn't he? He's been amazing. George McPherson says the Big Six have always gotten away with the FFP, whilst the others have been docked points. This is what I mean. Cal Lee says, why do we want Bowen? There must be someone better. I think if we could get Bowen, you'd be laughing, really. Bowen's father-in-law will not allow him to even think of leaving. This is said a lot, in it, Luke, about family members at the clubs and stuff, and then when they go, well, I'm taking a pretty big pay cut here to stay at West Ham, even though they might not. I don't think that'll be in Bowen's contract, will it? A relegation, because a lot of them lose, obviously, percentage in the wage, don't they, when they go down. Is the overlap a low-budget, less knowledgeable version of the underlap? Budget-wise, they outdo me on the budget, 70 RPM, but it's definitely less knowledgeable, isn't it, would you say? The knowledge that you boys bring to the glory of the underlap on the Thursday nights is that, you lot bring the knowledge, don't you? I'm just a river to the people. I just let them drink it up. You lot bring the talking points. You lot bring the knowledge, and I just bring trying to deal with the knowledge. Not all my comments are making it through. I don't know if you're on wind up Roger Slicker with this, because I'm getting this in every feed now, and it's like, are you lot trying to wind me up now? It's all low budget 78 RPM except for the watch alongs. We have a scoreboard now, moved up in world. And rest assured, Mimi, we can bring that in whenever we need it, just like that. And we can relive that Arsenal full-time scoreboard, sponsored by Joe Depp. And there won't be a scoreboard this weekend because I'm off to the game, but I will be going live like 2 hours beforehand because it's not till late, is it, the game? So I'm going to go live like 12 for a couple of hours and have a drink with you and talk about the big match. Yes, Roller Blunt, evening badges. Geets up, Roller Blunt. The new changes help us more than PSR at the moment, but we have the best type of owners in a way because they bought us to make money. So by proxy, they will want to invest, if you get me. Yes, indeed. The further and better we go, the more money them boys are going to make out. So that's what we, have to hang on to. And then I want to read this. This is controversial, this. So Leeds United have released a post. Leeds United support football versus homophobia. Club highlights the initiative. Is anybody with me here? Like, why? What is this about? Leeds United are proud to support football versus homophobia's month of action to show continued support for the LGBTQ plus history month. So, LGBTQ plus have got a history month, which is okay, fair enough. Football versus homophobia is a campaign running year round and through February. So it's not running year round. Well, it is running year round because, you can't go anywhere without it being absolutely thrown upon you. I just want to go to a football game, Ellen Road. Just you focus on fucking performing on pitch, boys. And I promise you, if anybody's a dickhead to a gay guy round me, I'll have a go at them. But I don't think anybody really gives a fuck. This is all just like, who's this for? Who reads this and goes, oh, yes, thank God. Thank you, Leeds United. Thank you, Ellen Road, for standing up against homophobia, supporting football versus homophobia. Football is not against homophobia. Football is a sport where people kick a ball around. It's got nothing to do with homophobia. There might be some homophobic morons that go to football games. That's not football against homophobia. Just say, saying stuff you don't have to say. I don't like homophobia. Right? No, neither do I. If you went round every time, I might do it. I might take my microphone. I might take the badger down to Ellen Road on Saturday and go, do you like homophobes? And see how many yeses we get. You might get the odd jovial, yeah, I love them, as in passing. It's ridiculous. So football versus homophobia is a campaign running all year round. They have to say it's running all year round. But basically, we're focusing it on February, and that's why we're releasing this bullshit article. Uniting football in opposing homophobia and prejudice against lesbian, gay, bisexual and transgender people in football. Okay? Year-round, football versus homophobia enables people to take action against prejudice and discrimination based on sexuality or gender identity in football, and to celebrate and welcome diversity in the game, which I just don't think you need to do. Football is the most diverse game in the world. There might be some issues from back in the day when gay players were unwilling to come out. There might be some gay players that struggle with it a little bit. But I don't think just, releasing this article is going to make all the gay players come out. And why can't we just all stop talking about stuff and just leave it? And then we'll find ourselves in scenarios where you just go, yeah, no one gives a shit if you're gay, mate. I don't know anybody that gives a shit if somebody's gay. Honestly, I don't. So, and if it's only me that done, I apologise. If everybody else knows 150 raging racists and homophobes, then fair enough. But so we're celebrating and welcoming diversity in the game, even though it's an unbelievably diverse game, and it brings communities together and it brings opposing fans together. And so this is what I mean. You go to Chelsea, you sing that chant, you get shit off somebody. You go to Chelsea, you sing the chant, and people think, oh, well, fuck it. There's thousands that think, oh, fuck it, it's part of the game. You bring people in, you take people out. It is what it is. It's a bit of banter, it's a bit of fun. If you don't think it is, then you maybe shouldn't be there. You don't have the big ads for it. We're just getting soft. This culminates in an international show of support in February. Well, this is the first time hearing it. To raise awareness of the issue and to join together in making a visible stand against prejudice. Again, I don't need any awareness. Imagine having Tourette's at a football match, says Roger Slicker. No low level on underlap, Mingy, and you know it. Another load of bollocks, says Ming. It's this fucking stupid, very, very small percent of people that want to be offended. Well, it's the stupid, very, very small people that want to be offended, Ming. But it's also the people, it's the stupid people that say one thing that then everybody jumps on as though everybody thinks that. Again, just stop bothering what other folk are doing. Mind your own business. It's not complicated, says Mao Shika. I'm hoping you're not on about me there, but that's fine. Obviously, I'm just in the article. In terms of what other people are up to, no one gives a shit, do they? Which I think is what you're saying, isn't it, Mao Shika? So, I got called out in family stand for booing taking the knee, says Cal Leeds. Again, you know, if people are gonna be taking the knee, you're gonna get someone that like Cal that boos, and then everybody, and then there. So you're bringing a problem for me now. I didn't want to have any of this. Top man Mal. I didn't want to be in a scenario where like people are booing and people are. I don't want it in the game. I want it away from the game. I'll talk to you in Boozer about it, or if you want to bore me with it, bore me in streets with it. Don't put it on me before a football game. I just want to watch a football game. I don't want to go on FIFA and then have this bollocks before a FIFA game. It's a game. It's a electronic game, a computerized game of football on a screen that I'm playing with two thumbs with nobody in the living room and they're fucking pushing shit down my throat. It's like, fucking leave me alone. Let me have it. Oh. Look at the back. It's total bollocks, says Ming. Look at the back and just Joe got. Let everyone be the sexuality types they want, but it's not in football. It's nothing to do with football, is it, Richard? No one gives a shit. Football defines how diverse society is in general, doesn't it? Because everybody, or 80%, or it's the most followed sport in the world, say. I don't know what the percentage of the people that like football, but it's a fucking lot of people, innit? Hit them like buttons, Mingy. Yes, indeed, you stingy sods. That's the real tragedy here. You know, where's Leeds United versus the lack of my likes? Where's Leeds United versus City of Leeds fans' likes? Subscribers and all that stuff, where's that at? Why don't we celebrate that in March? Trying to raise awareness of, God-fearing men. Results of a 2024 survey, Out and Out Football, showed 74% of respondents, all LGBTQ+, said they experienced or heard anti-LGBTQ+ abuse when watching football. Less than a quarter of those people said they had reported the incidents. So when you go out looking for crimes, you're going to find them, aren't you? When you suddenly go, oh, well, because I've heard some dumb shit. I've heard again, it's just like, I don't know, should you be calling people out relentlessly for stuff? So they don't report. So now they've been encouraged to report the incidents. It suggests a lack of confidence or awareness, or the fact that, maybe you're just a bit bored and people just can't wait now to report stuff. But this type of discrimination just doesn't impact the LGBTQ plus people. Using homophobic or transphobic language or putting someone down because of their gender just because you don't like the way they play football, manage a team, make a refereeing decision, or because of whom they support is wrong. It's against the laws of the game. It's against the laws of the game. I thought against the laws of the game were like red cards and, foul throws. Cheating, offside. It's against the laws of the game and can be a criminal offence, but most importantly, it can make football an intimidating and unpleasant place for fellow fans, players and match officials. Well, I've never, ever felt intimidated at Ellen Road, and I've been going since I were 7. So you either need a better father figure in your life or something that, your big bro or something that'll look after you a bit and just think, nobody's bothered. Keep yourself to yourself. Using homophobic or transphobic language or putting someone down because of their gender just because you don't like the way they play football. I've just read that. An increase in homophobic language and abuse on social media, in the stands and at grassroots in recent years means that there will need to be a stand up to homophobia in the game. Fans can make a real difference to the culture, and we'd like your support. How can we make a difference here? I don't think giving a round of applause for 1 minute before the game is going to stop the guy behind me being a bit homophobic. Maybe a conversation with him is, but they're not willing to do that, are they? Not willing to go, as I say, are you homophobic? Are you homophobic? Are you homophobic? Throughout Football versus Homophobia Month and beyond, please help Leeds United by standing up to prejudice and discrimination against the people in the game. Together we can make football a welcoming place for everyone. If you witness, here we go, here's the real crux of it. If you witness any behaviour during a game, like anti-gay chanting and hateful or prejudiced language, speak to a nearby steward or text Leeds to 6006 with details of this incident. So how much easier has that become now? You just all you got to do is text Leeds to 6006. I might text Leeds now to 6006 and say, do you remember when Silver Steve kept coming on and calling me gay and that I've got a boyfriend? Is that guy an idiot? Probably. Is it offensive? Not really. Would it be if I were gay? Honestly, no. He could call me anything, Bring it on. Can we all toughen up a bit? Call stuff out when you see it. Be a big boy. And go, no, mate, don't talk to him like that. Don't talk to him. Or just go, I think he might be joking. I think it might be at the moment. Remember, this is the best bit. Doing nothing only allows discrimination to get worse. Find out more on the homophobia campaign. Football versus homophobia and get stuck in. Involved by clicking here. Fucking hell. I want to go to a game, sing, I've nobody telling me to be quiet, says Cal Leeds. Yes, indeed. And that's why when things are pushed upon you, you get people that boo and you get people that clap and you get people... So you're creating rifts. You're off to a Leeds game, mate, to go watch Leeds United Football Club win the game, aren't you? Because that's the only reason I'm going to a football game. I don't want to be having a serious conversation with the guy next to me about whether or not I think we should be applauding for a minute football against homophobia or any other thing. Couldn't give a shit. I could not give a shit. I'm at a football game. I live in the real world. I live a normal life. I work my nuts off. Work like a dog. I do not need this shit rammed down my throat relentlessly. Does my fucking head in. Let Leeds keep cracking on doing some articles, Sort your fucking website out, mate. Couldn't even get my own home ticket this time. I've had to buy my mates for the Rich game. I couldn't get it. It wouldn't allow me. So I rung them this morning. It was too late. Luckily, I've got my mates a couple of seats down. Sort that out, mate, and then I'll fucking kick homophobia out of game for you when I get down there. But maybe what if a homophobe's in my fucking seat? There's a thing in Pisser in urinal. And it's like a A4 poster, and it says, "Have you heard or any racist comment or homophobic comment?" And it says details of the guy, the seat number. You just that 6006 that they want you to type in, and then you just put in the details of the. How fucking mad is that? So some bitch 3 aisles up that I split up with 6 years ago wants to go. I know what I'll do. I'll just report. I'm not even going to say my chair number because I'm worried somebody's going to text in. But, I'll just report his chair and then he'll get in. It's like, what the fuck? What happens to me then? It's because somebody's decided that they don't like me. And I've got a history of this, boys. So Jack's ideology is the 1950s kid. Don't like it ramming down the throat. Slow down, Roger Slicker. Stay loose. I've campaigned for years that I'm discriminated against because I'm ugly twat. No one seems to care. No one cares, Min, because you're not ugly, mate. You're a diamond in my eye, mate. How many respondents? 20,000, 2,000 or 20? They never say, do they? No. Exactly, yeah. Can you imagine how you could skew a poll? Don't get them talking about skewed polls, 78 RPM as well. If I ask 10 people, do you like cheese, and 8 of them say yes, I think I'm going to take that. I'm not asking another 10. Shit your pants if you ask another 10, don't you? Because you think, what if I get to 20 and there's another 12 people next that don't like it, another 10 people don't like it? That's not the percentages I want. Oh, Mark Bradley, my ninja. Appreciate you standing up to You're standing up to everything wrong with mate. There you are. Appreciate you. You're the West Coast warlord, mate. Thank you, Mark Bradley. Shout out to Mark Bradley. Shout out to every which one of you. You know this by now. If you don't know by now, then you never knew. There's 15 room. There's only 45 likes. We're trying to get these videos up to 100 likes. We're in the lives for the 100 likes. We nearly got there yesterday. Let's have a look. Did we get there yesterday? Because I ain't checked. I thought it was more interactive this way, boys. I've not been able to get back to comments of late because I've been that busy. So I thought, just go live. It's also a bit more, it's longer content and all that stuff. I don't know whether people prefer it or not. I will get back to the shit vids, don't worry. We got 92 likes yesterday and we got 137 likes on stacks, to be fair. So that's mint for me. So I appreciate every which one of you. It's 11 versus 11. That's the rules. They're the only rules you need to abide by. And, you know, a bit of skullduggery and a bit shithousery. You know, it used to be on the nod, didn't it? You know, it used to be enjoyed. AO says, I'm sick of them pushing their agendas into everyday walk of life. Fuck off, be happy, enjoy your lives and stop forcing people to conform to their bullshit. There's just no need. Just making bigger issues, making a mountain out of a molehill. Let AI decide everything. Before you go in, you should just go into turnstile with your ticket. It should just scan you and it'd go, don't like look of him. They go, and just rejection go. And you have to go, well, that robot decided. And then next person comes up and go, maybe. And then you get in a maybe queue. You have to stand there and you have to deliberate. And then you go through to a steward and then he has the final say. Or you chuck him 10 quid and he lets you in. You know, and then see you end up in stands. You've got to allow some people as well. You've got to allow some people to grow up a bit as well. Some people are super immature. I'm immature, you know. So fucking what? I've evolved a lot since I was young, like everybody does. So a dumb statement made, or dumb thing I've said, or dumb thing I've done, or, you know, what can I not mean everything I say all the time? Can I make a mistake? Can I do something? Can I be that dickhead with the phone showing Declan Rice's misses? Is there any need for that to go around Twitter like there's no tomorrow? Is there any need for Simon Jordan to be talking about it and then say, well, it's not that bad, you know. It's not racist. It's not homophobic. It's not... No, it's just a photo of his bird. He might have fancied her. Granted, I thought it was really low-resolution banter and I think the guy's a bit of a mongoloid. But the fact that it's made national news when there's so much shit going on that I definitely aren't going to be touching on. I do not want to talk about anything to do with any of that shit on my channel. Or in general, truth be told. It's none of my fucking... well out of my jurisdiction. They're all wankers. It just fucks me off. I just think, just leave everybody alone a bit. Let people make mistakes. Let him have his day out and go, fucking hell, get home and go, I lost it a bit. I lose my temper sometimes at 6-a-side. It's pathetic. I'm losing my temper playing 6-a-side. If somebody filmed it, went, look at him. Or, you know, if my mates fell out at me because I've lost my temper playing football, it's like... I've not punched anyone. I've got a bit radgy. It's got a bit heated. You know, I go home and I go to Nikita Love and I go, oh, fucking embarrass myself again. It's kicked off and I didn't want it to be kicking off. Do you know what I mean? Oh, Mal Sheikha, what are you saying, big boy? Early in the season, I told you DCL would get 20 goal and assists. Is 5 a goal so far. That is... absolutely insane, Malshika. You absolute legend. I'm not sure I'm saying your name right. That is so kind of you, dude. Thank you so much, man. Shout out to Malshika. Blow me away, brother. I can't do this again. Shout out to Mark Bradley and Malshika. Shout out to every which one of you. Thank you, Mal. Mo, is it Mo or Mal? Moo. Could be Moo. I'm so bad with pronouncing stuff, man. Thank you, dude. I need to start doing stuff somewhat decent for super chatters and members, because saying thank you doesn't cut the mustard, does it? That's crazy. Think like a cow. Moo. Sorted. Got you, man. I'm going to put pronounced moo. It's extremely kind of you, dude. Thank you ever so much. Mark Bradley and Moo. Quite the pairing. It knocks me... totally knocks me for 6. I don't know what to say. I don't know how to move on from it. I was on a bit of a roll as well. I actually thought it was potentially fucking controversial as well, what I was saying, but you know, cause there's not an angry bone in my body about this shit. I just want to go have a pint at footy and have a laugh. Thank you, legend. Someone said a word I don't like. Okay, sir, the police will be straight round. Someone's got a knife and he's breaking in my house. Police will be round a week on Wednesday. Let me know when they're in. If they're not in yet, I can't come round. That's legit half at time what they say. And it's not coppers' fault. They've got a fucking rod up their ass as well. They can't do all either. Leeds versus Norwich next Sunday. It's sold out. Well, this is it, Marcus May. So I couldn't get my ticket when I had priority for the ticket. It's my ticket. So, you know, the season ticket. I had 2 days to get it and they won't let me have it. Managed to get my mate's ticket, who's a couple of seats down. But the website said the website's shit. And then it said it was sold out. And then our kid got a ticket with him and his daughter. An hour after it said it was sold out. The website just legit doesn't work. Bradder's getting the love he deserves, me. Yes. I like lives because without wanting to sound gay, it's an ace community and I have you all. And that 78 RPM is why there's a stand against homophobia, my brother. Shout out to Moo. Appreciate you, man. And to back DCL is legendary, even more legendary than you'd ever imagine, mate, because the amount of people that was dead set against DCL coming to the club when it was blatantly on a free, at the very least, a decent signing. You know, he was free as a bird, wasn't he? His voice will be heard. And he's banging goals in left, right and centre. So, yes. That's my rant. That's my rampage. Probably lost about 150 followers. But we don't give a shit up in this bitch, do we? Never cared once. Don't care now, never cared then. We're off global again, baby. We're pushing forward with this. I'm total lone soldier again. Under nobody's influence again. Never again will I do that. Never going under anybody's influence again. Where I think, oh, I won't say that because he's been, you know, like, and they're all playing a game with these boys, man. It's like being in the Illuminati. The closer I got to them, the more I realised that they're all snakes, man. Serious. There's one or two of them that are alright. And I think you probably all know who they are. So, got too close. Keep your friends close. And then pretend to be friends with everybody else. I think that should be the saying. But yes, I'm out of here, guys. I'm off to go play six-a-side. Appreciate every which one of you. Shout out to Mushika for the mad super chat. Honestly, you're a legend, mate. Shout out to Mark Bradley for the mad super chat. You're an absolute legend, mate. You're a West Coast warlord. Shout out to Mimi, 78 RPM. Marcus May, my man Ming. AO, Richard Todd, 78 RPM. MG, who is not here, but always pops in. Cheers, Moo. He popped in late last night to say that he was here, but he wasn't there at the time. Enar potentially in the wings. Mimi, Richard Todd, Roger Slicker. Cal Leeds, my dude. I think Luke might have gone now. I've not seen up from Luke, but shout out to Luke. George McPherson. Gomez Gang. JB Leeds, your legend, mate. Richard Todd. Yeah. I'm hoping I've not missed anybody. Brett, who thinks gone. I will be live tomorrow night from 8, Mimi. We've only gone at 7. Enar in the wings there. Yeet up, Enar. I think I forgot to mention you in the wings last night, Enar. I remembered and I was like, fuck. But I remembered this time, brother. Enar in the wings. I'll be live tomorrow from 8. We're just doing it at 7 tonight because I've got football in 45 minutes. So nobody do it how we do it. Shout out to you for the mental super chat. You're a ledge, mate. Appreciate you. Take it easy, everybody. And I will see you all hopefully tomorrow for a marathon. We're going for it again. I said it was the last underlap last week for laugh. And we're going for it, baby. We're going all out. We're coming for everybody, boy. Yes. Matt Bradley, Moo. I can't shout you out enough. Take it easy.
I don't wanna play no games. No, I don't wanna play no games. No, I don't wanna hear promises.
boom.